Welcome back everyone for a No Mercy watch party. We're picking up where the Kreese video left off, and if you haven't seen that, you may want to check that one out first. It will show you a different, more positive side to Kreese and how fatherhood plays into this series. But for now, we're focusing on Kreese's famous rules for Cobra Kai: strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Now, I think when the original Karate Kid was made, it was intended to be lessons taught by an evil sensei in an evil dojo. But when Cobra Kai debuted, the show flipped the script on the lessons the same way it did Johnny Lawrence. Strike First was the second episode and came up a lot in season 1.
Striking first is about being aggressive.
What are you doing?
Striking first.
Not if we strike first.
Season 2 had a lot of emphasis on no mercy, and obviously the last episode was titled No Mercy. Of course, there's no episode yet titled Strike Hard, and making it the forgotten middle child of the Cobra Kai creed. But there is this little bit on it.
Taught you to strike hard. Put every ounce of your power behind everything you do.
And by the way, I like that. I think it's a good view on Strike Hard lesson, and I hope the show goes into it more in the future. Now, it's the No Mercy cry we are discussing here. There seems to be a lot of disagreement on this. Disagreement between the fans, disagreement between the fans and the show, even disagreement between the show and the show. And actually, that is causing the confusion. The show and movies seem to weave back and forth on No Mercy. What do I mean? Well, let's start with Kreese here. First, imagine the defining moment of Kreese teaching No Mercy. It's probably this.
Sweep the leg. No mercy.
But that's not the only time. There's also this.
Hit him again. Finish him.
Even in the original movie too.
Point! Round kick! What are you looking at? Finish him!
So what we have here is actually two very different situations, but we are applying the same No Mercy lesson to. The first is when you're in a fight and the outcome is uncertain. Johnny was down 2-0 and facing elimination. The second situation is after the fight is over. Or at least not over, but the enemy is down and you have the advantage. It's where the concept of
This isn't a tournament, this is real life.
comes in. That's an important distinction that the show never makes. How do you win the fight?
Sweep the leg.
And then after you win, or you have the advantage, what do you do next?
Hit him again.
Now let's look at how Johnny taught his students No Mercy.
Life shows no mercy. So neither do we. We do whatever it takes to keep our heads above water. We do whatever it takes to keep moving forward. We do whatever it takes to win.
I like the lesson, and he's clearly talking about the first part of No Mercy, doing what it takes to win. The whole sweep the leg lesson. The problem is Johnny quickly has a change of heart on his own lesson.
Look, I know we want to win, but it's got to be the right way.
So this is the do what it takes to win lesson, and Johnny is furious about it.
Not when he's injured.
Also worth noting, Daniel doesn't take kindly on it either.
Yeah, well, you fought with honor, and he didn't. Mr. Cheap Shot?
Look, we can put Daniel aside here. Obviously, losers whine and complain about no honor, but what about Johnny?
I wasn't taught the difference between mercy and honor, and I paid the price for it.
Do any of you know what the hell he's talking about? Like, literally, what do those words mean? Mercy is showing compassion or leniency for someone, and honor is like a moral or ethical integrity in your actions. So he never learned the difference in what ways is being lenient different from acting with a high ethical integrity.
And I paid the price for it.
This is actually a little confusing. The idea is far better expressed in the negative, which thankfully he does.
But there's a difference between no mercy and no honor.
Okay, that is a lot easier to understand, especially in the Cobra Kai context. It feels like what he's trying to say is you can have no mercy, but not at the expense of honor. Note, this is the point that Kreese starts arguing on.
When you're in a war, the other side never fights with any honor.
Yeah, I don't know what shit you went through back then, but these are good kids.
To be clear, the argument is over honor. They agree Cobra Kai should have no mercy. They're not arguing over that. But the question is whether they should worry about honor. Johnny, yes. Kreese, no. So here's the problem. These are nice sounding words, but I'm not entirely sure what they mean, and I don't think the show knows either. Consider what Johnny says again.
But these are good kids, and they don't need to relive our mistakes.
What mistake is he talking about? Is he talking about way back at the tournament when he was down 2-0 and told to sweep the leg? That's when he came with a burst of fucking energy. Yes, a burst of fucking energy. Look at him go, and even the score. I don't see him paying any price here. It gave him a chance to win. Maybe it refers to after the tournament with Kreese, but I don't really see how. Johnny may have paid the price for Kreese snapping, but that's not because Johnny didn't know the difference between no mercy and no honor. This would have happened whether or not Johnny swept the leg. And can you imagine how Kreese would have acted if Johnny never swept the leg and lost 3-0? The writing is convoluted, it's confusing. Fancy words are thrown around to sound good, but the message and meaning are very unclear. No mercy can be whatever it takes to win. It can also be hitting your opponent again when you have control. Nowhere in any of this do they define what he means by honor. He does give it a shot.
But life's not black and white. More often than not, it's gray. And it's in those gray areas where Johnny Lawrence's Cobra Kai sometimes shows mercy.
Okay, what does that mean? I guess it means if the situation is black, no honor. If it's white, the honor is automatic. And gray areas sometimes have honor. Well, what about those gray areas? Well, let's look at the end fight that Johnny is so pissed about. Robbie kicks at Miguel, and here they are. So apparently, according to Johnny, this is the gray area here. Everything else is good, but here, this is the gray area and needs to be shown mercy. Make sense to you? Well, just look at how they're standing. What exactly is Miguel supposed to attack here? Robbie's injury is his main target. But because we put this gray area over it, he has to hit something else? It's like plot armor. Show mercy, why don't you? If you don't, and instead you just make the natural move for the position you're in, well...
Mr. Cheap Shot?
It sure pissed Johnny off.
Not when he's injured!
So I guess he's remembering this. Remember, in this situation, Daniel had the gray armor over his leg. So when he attacked the leg, he lost all honor. It seems to me if Johnny did make a mistake and Miguel did not, it was when they grabbed the legs. Look, Johnny had a full open target here. He could have gone for the win. Instead, like an idiot, he elbows the knee, taking a warning. Miguel, on the other hand, plays it smart. He attacks right where Johnny is open and gets the win. You would think Johnny would recognize that as the difference between him and Miguel, and maybe even Daniel would too.
You can't let the bullies win. Someone has to do something.
I guess not. They agree it's all black and white with gray areas. So for Miguel, this was the gray area, this was the white, and I guess this is the black area. No honor in hitting there. If all this strikes you as absurd, it's because it is absurd. The show is trying to make a principled moral point, but without an accurate moral compass. The result is messaging that lacks clarity or even logical consistency. There are other points this happens in the season.
All that crap we dealt with after high school, taking that no mercy bullshit out into the world.
While we don't know what happened after high school, and it's unclear if we ever will, but in the business world, a no mercy do whatever it takes to win attitude will more often just make you the winner. Does Tom Cole show mercy to Daniel in a fight over recruiting salespeople? Or the better question is, should he?
Vic took Tom Cole's offer without even letting us counter.
And he poached our top 2 salespeople.
Like, should he have stopped there and not gone after Anush too? Because there's no honor in that? Look, Anush decided to take the offer. He got what he wanted. In fact, by Tom Cole showing no mercy to poaching LaRusso's top salespeople, Anush found a better position. Anush is happy, and certainly the customers will be happy dealing with better salespeople. You don't walk into a business and wonder how the employees got there. That's behind the scenes stuff. The next time is with Hawk and Assface.
Alright, if he doesn't shut up, I'm gonna shut him up. Remember what Sensei said about showing mercy.
Look, I don't know if Assface is supposed to be the stupid one in the dojo, but Hawk goes along with him, so it seems like not. What mercy are they showing here? Because to show mercy or no mercy, you must first have power over another person. This is the no mercy at the end of the fight, not the do what it takes to win no mercy. But here Hawk doesn't have any power over Dimitri, he's just standing there, so he can't show mercy or not. It's such a confusing moment you wonder if they even know what they're talking about. So as far as the big fight goes, it comes down to who has the better teaching. Are we supposed to think Cobra Kai kids all learn no mercy from Kreese? Or did they learn to show mercy in gray areas from Johnny? Well, let's play a game. We'll go through the fight and keep score. If their teachings are proven right, they'll get a point. So, first, Sensei Lawrence teaches the difference between mercy and honor is gray areas. Well, okay then. Still not sure I understand, but whatever. Next, Sensei Kreese teaches the difference between winners and losers is no mercy. That is, a winner will show his enemy no mercy. Is that easier to grasp when you see it written out? I think it is. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and throw myself in this match as well. Sensei Watch Party believes, let's say, the difference between mercy and no mercy is judgment. So you have to use your judgment in the situation on whether or not to show mercy or no mercy. You also have to use judgment on how you control the end of a fight. It's an idea the show almost hinted at.
Use your judgment. This is just a training exercise.
But then forgot and ignored. So let's take a look. The first spot is with Assface and Douchebag. Look, he wins, but then what?
Hit him again.
Except he doesn't. Is he showing mercy or no mercy here? It's neither. He opted for Hollywood instead. In fact, I imagine most of you never even thought of Kreese's lesson here. The purpose of no mercy isn't to be an asshole, it's for your own protection. Just because someone is down doesn't mean they're out. You have to gain control of the situation, and then when you have power over someone, you can decide what to do. Until then, you are vulnerable and at risk.
But in the real world, it's about being a winner or a loser. And there are no losers in this dojo.
He lost. So he definitely proved Kreese's teaching correct by not following it. I guess we can give a point to Kreese here. And taunting your opponent when you knock them down, rather than taking advantage of the situation, is horrible judgment. So I'm giving myself a point here too. I don't see any gray area, so Lawrence gets nothing. It's a similar situation with Tori. Now, I've already talked about Tori here. You can't really justify her actions no matter how horrible Sam has been. She's certainly out of control. But if we put all that aside and just focus on the actual fight, we see that the two appear to be mostly evenly matched. I mean, this fight started in the hallway, spilled into the main entrance, up the stairs, at the top, down the stairs, with no one gaining an advantage. At least until Sam got a lesson from the sensei she never had.
When you're in a war, the other side never fights with any honor. Take it from me, I know. Trust me, I've been there. Be glad that you don't know.
We do whatever it takes to win. Just get down there and kick the shit out of everybody. Yeah! Cobra Kai! Yeah!
Look, moralizing aside, Tori was able to get an advantage to win the fight. Her problem is she messed up Kreese's most important lesson. Oddly, she didn't make the mistake in practice. She was charging here, and here she just took him out. But for Sam, she wanted to go all Hollywood.
No mercy.
It's amazing how often the Cobra Kai kids do this. She gives a little scene which really ends up costing her.
It's about being a winner or a loser. And there are no losers in this dojo.
And she lost. As we score this, well, the spiked bracelet is crude, but it did break the stalemate. But then she blew it at the end. So Kreese's lessons came through for that, half a point for him. Tori never considered showing any mercy, and I can't really say I approve of her choices no matter how Sam hurt her. She needed to win the fight. Taunting your opponent here doesn't help you win the fight. If she's going to go for it, then just do it. She really showed poor judgment and paid the price. So we end up with Miguel and Robbie. This is the most obvious one, so there's not a whole lot to add. Miguel has a flashback to this.
I wasn't taught the difference between mercy and honor, and I paid the price for it. If I'm extra hard on you, it's only because you have the potential to be better than I ever was.
And decides to just release his pin immediately after the fight. And obviously it doesn't go so well for him. The point in the show is he didn't follow Kreese's lesson. If he had shown no mercy, he wouldn't be in the hospital. But does that mean he has to break Robbie's arm and crush him? Can he show mercy but still use good judgment? Can he keep Robbie pinned to the ground until the tension comes down and Robbie gives up? I think that would be the best move for everyone, and I think that's why I win. It's a shame the show doesn't seem to consider this possibility, because this is where the show struggles. The moral arc of Season 2 is Johnny to instill honor in place of no mercy. This is especially emphasized here.
All that crap we dealt with after high school, taking that no mercy bullshit out into the world.
You got it the worst, man. Don't you remember?
Of course I remember. And people can change.
But as we've seen, this doesn't hold up, and I think the main reason why is the show is actually breaking its own theme.
You gotta flip the script, okay?
What happened? I'm flipping the script.
It's one of the most repeated lines, and it applies to more than just Hawk but the show itself. The beauty of Cobra Kai is it flipped the script on the whole Karate Kid idea. Yeah, Daniel is the real bully, Johnny's the hero. We've seen that. But it also flipped the script on Cobra Kai as a whole.
No such thing, bad student, only bad teacher. Teacher say, student do.
Strike first, no mercy, real good lessons.
That's the morality of the original movies coming through. But look at how the show flipped the script.
You've all learned to strike first. To be aggressive, not be losers. Taught you to strike hard. Put every ounce of your power behind everything you do.
I loved that, and it recast Cobra Kai for the modern era. But then why does the show keep the original Karate Kid take on No Mercy? Why are we flipping the script on everything but that? For some reason, this is the one aspect the show wants to keep from the original. I think the show falters because of it. They can't spin around everything about the movies but keep that one point. It ends up standing out in a bad way. I hope going forward the show finally does embrace the concept of no mercy the way it has strike first and strike hard. And why not? No mercy could be one of the best lessons for a modern audience. There's plenty of real-world usages, especially in the military. There are hints Terry Silver will be back in Season 3, so there's a good chance we may come to see the Vietnam origins of strike first, strike hard, no mercy. However, there's actually historical precedent for similar orders in the military. In 19th century colonial Somalia, when encountering bandits, the British military had standing orders to shoot on sight, shoot first, shoot to kill, keep shooting. It doesn't take too much to see the similarity to Kreese's lessons. So that's the British. Are there American examples of no mercy? Well, of course there are. My favorite happens to be this guy. Remember him? Don't let glorified paintings and dollar bills fool you. He didn't get to be the father of our country by giving out mercy. He gathered his men and crossed a freezing river at night just so he could attack and murder his enemies in their sleep. On Christmas. George Washington was the most ruthless, no-mercy motherfucker in American history, and he never once apologized for it. We honor him today because that is where honor really comes from. It comes after the fight, and it comes from the people you were fighting for. And over 2 centuries later, America still has it. No one gives a shit that we kill our worst enemies at night when they're asleep and most vulnerable. And do you know why?
But in the real world, it's about being a winner or a loser. And there are no losers in this dojo.
And then we honor everyone who did it.
It's the Medal of Honor, the highest honor awarded by the U.S. military.
Because that's where honor comes from. Not from yourself or some rule book on how to fight. It comes from the people you were fighting for. Your family, your friends, your countrymen, they give you honor. The losers who whine about honor are using it as an excuse.
Yeah, well, you fought with honor, and he didn't. So no matter what that trophy says, you're the real winner.
So if you want my advice, listen to this guy.
I will never let my students lose. Even if they have to learn the hard way.
What do you think? Leave a comment and let me know. So a lot of YouTube channels throw up a pic of the subscribe button when they ask you to subscribe. I've never done that because I think it's lame, but I am going to show you something red. This guy. Hawk wants you to subscribe because the next video is on him. Yeah! Hey, he's excited. It's going to be a good one. We're done with the deep stuff now. So up next is Hawk, Miguel, the boys of Cobra Kai. Going to look at them, each of them, their bonds with each other, their relationships with the girls. It'll be a lot of fun. You don't want to miss it. And if you want to see the first part of this series, check out my video on Kreese. Otherwise, check out my other Season 2 videos. A lot of really good stuff out there. Thank you. See you next time.
Anyways, until next time, no mercy, bitches.